I think the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith. You know, you do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So
welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Warriors, we got The View, Sunny hosted. These folks are getting into a fight right on live television over the government shutdown. That is what I'll be talking about today on Chat with me, Linda B. All right, Warriors, you know what to do. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications, stick around to the end. Let's go. All right, Sunny hosted and the women of The View. You know, I call them helpless. Yes, the cackling hens of The View. Haven't done a video on them in a while, but I gotta say, this is good commentary that's coming up in this video. Now, the Democrats, the voters, want to believe that the Republicans are the reason for the shutdown, but anybody who knows that the Democrats held the entire country hostage because they want to give more than $1 trillion for illegals to have health care and sex change operations. Because you know the Democrats need a dependent class. They need that. If there's no dependent class, no one dependent on the government, the Democrat Party ceases to exist. That is what they have built themselves on. But I want you to hear Alyssa Farron, what she says, and we're going to go back and forth on this one, guys. Let's watch.
So I've been saying from the outset, I don't think anyone wins in a government shutdown, and I welcome this deal. And let me tell you why. So the fight over extending the Obamacare subsidies is about addressing 22 million Americans who are going to see their healthcare premiums skyrocket. I believe that's important. I'm with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm with Mike Lawler and a number of Republicans who believe we have to extend those for at least a year. However, in the interim, while the government remains shut down, 42 million people are losing SNAP benefits ahead of the holidays. So to me, we've got to hold out for those 22 million whose premiums are going to go up, but deny these people SNAP benefits in the meantime. That math doesn't match for me.
So yes, the Democrats really don't want to say. They're trying to hide what they were really trying to do, which is get the government benefits for illegals. They really got to hide behind that because that's their only way to survive as a political party, in my opinion, is to have these illegals vote for them. They don't want voter ID. They don't want citizenship. They don't want law and order. Democrats don't want that. So they're trying to make it seem like they're looking out for 22 million people, but more than 40 million won't have food. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, we need to realize we got to look through the smoke and the mirrors. These people are playing in our faces. That math doesn't math. All right, it is the Democrats' fault. Now, you know, you're going to have some relatives and stuff over the holidays that's probably going to bring it up. It's Trump's fault. They don't know any better. Just pray for them. But I want you guys to listen to this next snippet. Now, they're going to really go after each other, but not in a violent, massive, wild way. But listen to what they are saying. Nobody is going along with Sunny hosting, like nobody.
And finally, Democrats are going to look like losers if they're just attacking each other in this. For some reason, Marjorie Taylor Greene was better at messaging the stakes of this shutdown, it feels like, than a lot of Democrats were. You have to give people the benefits they are entitled to under SNAP. You have to address the underlying issues of the crisis of healthcare in this country, but get government back working. No one can get anywhere. Flights aren't flying. The holidays are coming.
Yeah.
This is a welcome decision in my mind.
Okay. Look, let's be clear. The Republicans run the House. The Republicans run the Senate. The Republicans run the White House. The Republicans run the Supreme Court, as far as I'm concerned. This was a choice by Republicans to cut SNAP benefits. This was a choice by Republicans to cut ACA subsidies. This was a choice by the Republicans to gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it.
That woman is going to say that the Democrats had nothing to do with it. They had everything to do with it. It takes 60 votes in the Senate to pass a spending bill. There are only 53 Republicans. Democrats intentionally chose, there are clips of them, of various Democrats saying that we need this shutdown for leverage. They had everything to do with it. That Sunny Hostin is a real big time heifer. She's on somebody's payroll. She is literally, if you listen to what she is saying, Alyssa Farah is saying people need to eat. In the meantime, with this government, to reopen the government is the right decision because people need to eat. It is just that simple. And Sunny Hostin, is going to come with, no, the government, this is the Republicans. She was not a fan of this government shutdown being reopened. Sunny Hostin wants the government shutdown to continue. Really? When people are hungry, in the bill that the Republicans already signed off on, already had SNAP and other government programs funded. People could have still been getting paid. Democrats had everything to do with this. And she's going to sit up there and take up for these diabolical people because she's probably diabolical herself. She is going to still clamp down, 10 toes down on people not getting food just so the government can remain shut down. Right.
I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith. You know, you do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them. And now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over.
So she thinks it's a shame now that people are going to be able to eat. Evidently, she thinks that's a shame, that she is disappointed in the Democrat Party. She wants an opposition party. And if you noticed while she was talking there, she chuckled while she was talking. You know what? She knows she's lying. Allegedly lying. She knows, she's like, I can't believe all these lies coming out my mouth. She just laughing away. It's just so wild, guys. The Democrats don't want to work for the American people. That's just language that they use. At the end of the day, that bill, the continuing resolution that the Republicans signed off on continuously, had benefits in there for SNAP and other governmental programs already. Government workers would have been getting paid and all of that. They don't want to tell you, and see, the Democrats got to try and cover for their evil that they want to unleash onto this country. They've got to lie and spin it and all of that, but the truth is coming out. Oh, the truth is coming out. They wanted all that money for those illegals. And if you give all that money to the illegals, what about Americans? Everything there is has a budget. Okay, and if you give $1.5 trillion to illegals, what about the legal American citizens? Okay, what about that? They're just going to run out of money because they're trying so hard to take care of these illegals. Americans are not the concern of the Democrat Party.
Justice Department has opened a probe into California Congressman Eric Swalwell over alleged mortgage fraud. This after a criminal referral from Federal Housing Director Bill Pulte, who made allegations surrounding millions of dollars in loans and refinancing based on Swalwell declaring his primary residence is in Washington, not California. Swalwell branding himself a target of the president, saying this: as the only person who still has a surviving lawsuit against him, the only thing I am surprised about is that it took him this long to come after me, says Swalwell. I will not end my lawsuit against President Trump, and I will not stop speaking out against the president, claims the California congressman. Joining me now is former federal prosecutor, former acting ICE director, and former DHS Deputy Assistant Secretary Jonathan Fahey. Jonathan, great to see you. Thanks for weighing in on this. Your reaction to the criminal referral on Eric Swalwell.
Well, I think it's pretty interesting, and certainly his reaction, we'll get to in a second, but the fact that he is listing his primary residence in Washington, D.C., assuming that's all true, and yet he's representing California in Congress, there's a problem there because you can't be a primary resident of both. So I think the things they're going to be looking into are what's he saying on his tax returns? Where does he have a driver's license? Does he even have a home in California? And what is he listed with that? Because my understanding is one of the addresses that was supposedly his address in California, somebody else lives there. So he could have a problem either way this thing shakes out. If he's falsely claiming a primary residence to get a lower interest rate and therefore money, that's a problem. If he actually lives in Washington, D.C. and isn't living in California but is voting there and represents there, where he's required to be an inhabitant of the state, that's a problem too. So it's quite interesting. And just real quick on his response, President Trump probably has no idea that Eric Swalwell has a suit against him. And when you have a response like that, it makes you think, there's something up because he didn't directly answer the question. And if the answer to the question is, I primarily live here, but I'm also an inhabitant of California, he could have just said that, but he didn't. So that, I think it'll be very interesting as to what they come up with when they start digging a little bit deeper.
Well, look, we know that Eric Swalwell has been against this president from day one, and he's been more of a friend to China than a friend to the president of the United States. Don't forget that Swalwell had this suspected Chinese spy gaining access to California politics for so long, as he had an affair or some kind of a romantic relationship with Fang Fang, Jonathan. So there's that, and that's not even part of this investigation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what was going on with Fang Fang would certainly, I think he lost his security clearance in the House or wasn't allowed to be on the Intel Committee because of it. So this guy has certainly had a lot of questionable judgment over the years. But a lot of these Democrats are almost saying their criticism of President Trump should somehow inoculate them from any responsibility for their own actions, which doesn't make a lot of sense here. And I think he has some, he needs to answer these questions because it is serious, because he did presumably, if he got a lower rate, he made money because of this, if it in fact was a false statement.
Yeah, I mean, the controversy with Fang Fang resurfaced in 2020 when there were reports that Fang had targeted multiple Bay Area politicians. This is China's MO. They try to get involved in local politics to try to get their guy forward. Eric Swalwell was China's guy, that's for sure. And the FBI alerted Swalwell to Fang's activity in 2015. But look, this broader issue of the Democrats trying to target their political enemies is growing by the day. We are learning more evidence every day. We've got new FBI documents that show former federal special counsel Jack Smith going after the personal cell phone records of former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy as part of his probe into January 6th. This was the sitting Speaker of the House. Okay, Kevin McCarthy at the time was the Speaker of the House. They wanted his personal phone. Smith sought the same of then Congressman Louis Gohmert of Texas, all part of this quote unquote significant case notification drafted by the FBI in 2023. Fox also learning that Smith met with former FBI Director Christopher Wray just one day before that document was drafted after months of Operation Arctic Frost began. We learned this because Senator Chuck Grassley outed everything. He told Fox News Jack Smith claims he wants to tell his story to Congress, but when I asked him point blank if he ever met with Garland, Monica, or Wray as part of his investigation, he refused to answer. Senators Grassley and Ron Johnson have been leading this investigation, finding nearly a dozen Republican senators had their communications tracked under the Biden White House. Jonathan, your reaction to this Arctic Frost investigation, add Kevin McCarthy, President Trump, to this list of all the people that the Democrats and Jack Smith were trying to track and spy on.
Yeah, it's really outrageous, and so much credit should be given to Chuck Grassley for just being, digging into this, because it's so outrageous what Jack Smith was doing, and this idea that he wants to tell a story. No, he wants a soapbox to make a case against President Trump and try to take him down again. But what's really outrageous about this is not only going after the members of Congress and Senate, because this is, again, a co-equal branch, and usually the Department of Justice has very stringent safeguards for doing anything investigating the co-equal branch. But then doing it in such a broad form of sending out subpoenas for everyone under the sun shows that they really not just wanted to take down Trump, which we've all known that, and everyone around him in his orbit, but also the Republican Party, because some of these subpoenas went after places like Turning Point, the Republican National Committee, the Republican Attorney General's Association. So they wanted to go after these organizations. And how does that hurt the Republican Party? Well, what does it do? Donors are then afraid to associate with these groups, don't want to support them. So it all has a chilling effect on people's First Amendment rights to associate, to donate, to be a part of these organizations. It is so shameful. But remember, during this time, this is a time period in Congress where people like Senator Schumer and others were calling to get rid of the filibuster, pack the Supreme Court. They were going full on to take down the Republican Party and using January 6th or whatever they could use as a pretext to do so. And it's so shameful. And what Jack Smith wants to do, again, he wants his moment in the sun, but he wouldn't answer direct questions from Senator Grassley, which he's obligated to do. And I hope he'll ask Chris Wray, who I expect will answer questions, but to find out what the heck was going on. Why were there no safeguards on this? Because it really is outrageous conduct.
Yeah, it sure is. And by the way, when I spoke with Ron Johnson over the weekend, the Wisconsin senator said that there were 38 Wisconsinites, normal, average, everyday people. They were just leading and involved in politics, local politics, who were targeted, who were actually they tried to take them down because they were supporters of President Trump. So you are spot on. This is not just about 12 lawmakers. This is not just about tracking Kevin McCarthy or President Trump. This is about anybody who supported President Trump and Republicans, broadly speaking. 200 Republican groups, including 38 honest Wisconsinites, according to Ron Johnson. We'll get into that later. Jonathan, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will catch up soon. Jonathan Fahey.
To speak about it in that household. My grandpa wasn't playing that.
Yeah. But even if they are conservative in whatever way, the spirit of the person is still evil if they are not overcome by forgiving. Because you're conservative, it doesn't change your nature unless you forgive.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that too, because I guess his mom, my grandfather's mom, and she was a nasty lady. I mean, that's what my grandma says.
Yeah, and look at conservative people. They're angry and judgmental. They have no love, but they're supposed to be conservative in their, I guess, material world. But inwardly, they have as much hatred as a liberal person does. There's no difference.
Absolutely.
Because their heart hasn't changed.
Okay.
So don't base it on somebody saying, oh, I'm a Christian conservative. Don't go by that at all.
Yeah. Well, especially the women in my family.
Yeah. And the men, too, if they're not overcome mama. You're a conservative, right? I mean, you're conservative. Are you a conservative?
I am on 95% of things.
And so look how angry and fearful you are.
That's true. That's a good point.
You're afraid of your mama.
To some degree.
But you shouldn't be afraid at all. God has not given you a spirit of fear. That came from your mother, and her God, the small g, gave it to her because she resented her mother. So do what you want, Scott, but I recommend you say no to your mother if you want to say no. And don't be into that emotional crap. Oh, I feel sorry for her. That's evil.
Okay. I understand that.
And stay with the prayer, stay with the prayer. Your son is 3 years old. He needs you. But he needs you to be strong, meaning don't have anger. Don't have fear.
All right. Well, I'm still a work in process as far as that then.
Yeah, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Do not stop working on you, and eventually you'll be done with that and you'll be free. But don't give up.
All right, then, Jesse.
Let me know how it goes.
All right, buddy.
Okay. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Arizona and talk to Justin. out of Arizona. Justin, you are on the air.
How you doing, Jesse?
All is well.
All right, so I'm at this.
I mean, Arkansas, not Arizona. My bad.
Arkansas, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, I heard Arizona. I was like, I don't know if that's me that he's calling on. But I heard
Right.
Justin.
Oh, my bad.
Oh.
He black.
You're good. So, basically, like, when I first started listening to you, I didn't know. It's not that I didn't believe in what you're saying. I was confused by it. I was like, thoughts, like art yourself, and all that stuff. It was kind of confusing, right?
Yes.
But over time, I was like, my life was an absolute mess, just a complete mess. So I'll try anything at this point. So long story short, about over a year ago, forgave both parents. I'm a senior at college, but I work and all that stuff. But I've been watching my thoughts for a while now. Now I fully see it. You know, doing a Cypher daily, I see it. I'm like, wow. Like, first off, there's a lot of evil that's inside of us, which is crazy. I didn't even realize any of that. And the other thing is, the more I watch it, I see it. I'm not identifying, but you see it or whatever it is, that spirit. It's got a full-time job coming after me. Like, it is a daily thing. I just have to, you know what I mean? Like, it comes at you constantly. And even though I keep watching it, I guess my question is, will that ever fully be lifted away?
If you stay with it, I promise you it will. But don't worry about that. Don't be into thinking about when it's all in, I want out, because you're creating false identities when you do that, and you're trying to overcome. You want to die from illusions. You want to die from false identity. So, but don't worry about it. Don't think about it. It will. You will have a clear mind if you just let it happen. Be aware that you're feeling and thinking this way, but do nothing about it. And the light will destroy the darkness. It will destroy the evil. The good will destroy the evil. But you gotta just watch it and don't worry about how long it's gonna take.
Now that I see it, it is just wild, because, I mean, whatever that thing is, it's not a fan of me.
No.
And it works overtime, and I don't know why do you think that is? Like, why is...
Because evil lives in human beings. And it's called the ego, but it means it's the nature of evil. And it lives in all human beings. There's not one that don't have it. And it made a home in you. So you're like the place that is renting from. It's your body is home, is house, and it doesn't want to leave you. And all your life it's been making you think that it was you, because it made you identify with. You thought the thoughts and the emotions, the so-called good one and the bad one, you thought they were your own, they were you. And so you have identified with it, so they cling to you. And they made you believe all your life was you. Now you're starting to see that they're not you and do nothing about it, and they will have to leave you. But they do not want to leave the body, because and right now rent is expensive everywhere. They got to find somewhere else to rent from. But if you just stay aware and don't do anything about it, go about your day, I promise you, Justin, they will leave and you will have a clear mind.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's weird. I feel like this world, or whatever we're in, whatever this life is, it's way more spiritual than a lot of people think. I didn't think it was spiritual at all. Like, for years, I was like, I don't know, God, evil. Like, but now that I see it, I'm like, what is going on? This thing has been here my entire life. I can now see it, just how it drove me. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but like,
right.
There's been some stuff over the last few years where I'm like, wow,
yeah,
that has literally been controlling me. And then I was watching your videos, and then I put the two and two together. I'm like, my parents like hate their parents, and I'm like, how does this guy know this stuff? It's like kind of strange, but not strange in a bad way. But I'm like, what the heck?
I know it the same way you're starting to know it. It's being revealed to you. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself, because once what you're gonna discover in the beginning, you're gonna discover who you're not. You're not your thoughts. You're not the emotions. You're not your job. You're not where you live. You're not your color. You're neither male nor female, even though you have a male body. That's not who you are. And you're going to see who you're not. And when you overcome who you're not, when you die from that, as Christ did, the real you will appear. It will appear. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, it just seems like a process, which I'm not complaining, but it's every day I go, maybe it won't be fighting as hard today. But now that
You say, well,
I
now?
fight, I'm like, it's a process. Like every day I kind of wake up, I go, maybe today it'll be like fighting less. Like
No, don't say that. That's not even you saying that.
It just kicks and screams like most time, but I stay present, do my classwork, go to work and stuff. I'm not like turned out, but I see it. I'm like, wow.
That's all you need to do. And it's a light, and it's not light of yourself you see it. It's a light of the truth. It's a light of God. It's a light of reality that is allowing you to see the evil. And the darkness hate the light, and the light will destroy the darkness.
Makes sense. And if a kid has two parents who, like, hypothetically, they both forgive their parents, they've been working on themselves for years, they see it, right? Say somehow two of them have a kid. Will that kid again be born with that spirit of evil that he's going to have to overcome?
If the father and mother have returned to the father by forgiving, and they only have love inside of them, there's no way the kid's going to grow up angry. The mothers and the father are producing the kids in their own image. They're angry, and they destroy the innocence of the child and rebuild the children, especially the mother in her image, which is evil. That's why I say there is no such thing as bad children. It's only bad parents, and the children are becoming what the parents are.
Right. I mean, I haven't met. Have you met any kids who had that perfect situation with the parents who?
I've not.
I mean, I don't think I have.
It doesn't exist. Eventually, it will start to exist, and I'm sure somewhere in the world somebody has found this, and they're now living it, and maybe they make kids, and they're doing fine. But it's very rare. All human beings are evil. That's why God said, all who are born of the woman, men and women, all who are born of the woman must be born of the spirit of the Father.
Wow. Yeah, so maybe there's a select couple. Your 2 cents about it.
Another thing I want to warn you about, as you let go like that, just give up and let go. Evil gonna make you feel fear, like it makes you think that you are afraid to stop thinking. It makes you think that you are afraid. What would happen if I don't think anymore? What would happen if I just trust the light and do what's in front of me? You're gonna feel that, but it's not you. It's trying to deceive you because it wants to stay with you.
Yeah.
And so just be aware of that and do nothing about it.
I will do that. Yes, sir.
Amazing. All right, just from Arkansas.
Justin from Arkansas.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one.
You too. 888-7753-773. Let me go to North Carolina and talk to Isaiah. Hold on here. Oh, no, wrong one. Isaiah, you are on the air.
Hey there, Jesse.
Hey, Isaiah.
So I had a question for you today.
Yes.
ACA credits, the Affordable Care Act credits, or better known as Obamacare. Now, in this video, we're going to break down the revolutionary idea that President Trump just gave to the Republicans to do. And if they follow through with this, it could be the end to the whole Obamacare as we know it, and a revolutionization of the entire medical insurance game for all of us, making it more affordable and giving us more control. So in this video, I'm going to show you clips from Obama. I have to, because there's some things that was laid out that are direct discrepancies with where we are now. You're going to also hear from President Trump. But even most importantly, you're going to have one of the best understandings of what ACA is, how we got in this mess, and the best way for us to get out of it. So if you're somebody, I mean, if you're over the age of 16 or let's say 18, obviously medical insurance is extremely important. So I don't care if the person doesn't have to be old. You can be really, really young. You can be more mature in life, or you could be right in the middle of the pack. But failing to have medical insurance can be catastrophic to us, because who knows, at any moment, car accident, some fall, whatever. So let's go through it in this video now. President Trump's idea for U.S. citizens to get direct payments for health insurance. Trump reveals proposal amid the government shutdown. Now, this article was just released yesterday, and the government was shutting down. I'm gonna go through a little bit of it, as you see, on November the 10th, 2025. So this just rolled out, but it's making its rounds, and people are liking what they're hearing. So check this out. U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday recommended that money be sent directly to people so they can buy their own health insurance, while blasting Obamacare, or the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. President Trump proposed a compromise on health insurance payments in a Truth Social post made Saturday morning. Trump called on Republicans to send federal payments that will go to insurers under the Affordable Care Act directly to Americans. The post comes one day after Senate Republicans rejected Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's proposal that potentially could have ended the government shutdown. And of course, as of today, we know they ended it anyway without anything moving forward on this. And they are going to expire on December 31st, so it is a real thing. Americans to get direct money for healthcare costs. Trump urged Senate Republicans in a Truth Social post on Saturday to send the money used to offset the cost of ACA healthcare premiums directly to the people so they can purchase their own much better healthcare. The president did not provide any further details, though fiscal hawk GOP Senator Rick Scott enthusiastically announced on X that he's willing to write the bill now. At present, ACA enrollees who qualify for tax credits, also known as premium subsidies, never see the funds. They are sent directly to insurers to offset people's monthly premiums. Taking the Truth Social, Trump stated, "I am recommending to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad healthcare provided by Obamacare be sent directly to the people so that they can purchase their own much better healthcare and have money left over." So let's talk about it. Now, when Obamacare passed, it passed without one single Republican vote. And remember, Joe Biden was in office and the Democrats had the White House, the Senate, and the House. And you know what they did? They kicked the ball. They set the expiration date for December 31st, 2025. So when they come out saying Republican shutdown, Republican healthcare crisis, that's their deflection. They did this without any Republican help. They set the expiration date. Now, they could have extended it for however long that they wanted. They could have did whatever they wanted to with it. But they saw that the tide was shifting and that it was more likely that Trump would win. So their game plan was, okay, if we get back in office and we take control of everything, we can do what we want to do with it. No harm, no foul. But if Trump wins, now he's going to be stuck with this issue, and we'll use our problem against him. And ignorant, sleep voters will believe that what we're saying when we say the Republicans did this when not one Republican wanted it, not one Republican voted on it. The Democrats single-handedly created Obamacare, subsidized it, and then set the date to end it. As a matter of fact, let's take a walk back down memory lane. And listen, this is important. I know people say, oh, Lord, I don't want to hear them, but these next couple clips are critical to what President Trump is going to say. Check this out.
Healthcare is not a privilege for the fortunate few. It is a right. And I knew that if we didn't do something about our unfair and inefficient healthcare system, it would keep driving up our deficits. It would keep burdening our businesses. It would keep hurting our families. And it would keep holding back economic growth. Now, knowing you can offer your family the security of healthcare, that's priceless. Now you can do it for the cost of your cable bill. Probably less than your cell phone bill.
Wow. Now that's one.
Big lie.
In the comments, tell me, was he telling the truth or was he not? Now in this next clip, check this out.
It will actually reduce the deficit by $4 trillion over the long term. Reducing the waste and inefficiency in Medicare and Medicaid will pay for most of this plan. It will slow the growth of healthcare costs for our families, our businesses, and our government. There will be a provision in this plan that requires us to come forward with more spending cuts if the savings we promised don't materialize.
These are the types of things that Barry was standing up saying just to help us remember how we got here. Now in this one, check out the split. One is going to be Barry Soetoro, aka Barack Obama, talking to Congress, and the Republican senator is going to interject. But check out what the media thinks is important. Check this out.
Also, those who claim that our reform efforts would ensure illegal immigrants. This too is false. The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally. It's not true.
In tonight's Fox 17 Waste Watch investigation, the IRS has given $750 million tax dollars to illegal immigrants. It is all in a report released this month saying the money has been given in the form of Obamacare subsidies. This money is handed over without any proof of citizenship. Part of it is hard-earned money from those of us right here in the mid-state.
So, y'all, the whole time Obama was doing speeches talking about how, yeah, illegals shouldn't be here and healthcare won't be going to them. The whole time they already started the illegal immigrant migration, and they already started giving them free health insurance back then. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a donation, or a super chat. You hitting that like button is more than enough. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed already or subscribing now, make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all, so that way YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos. This is from 2012. Way back then they were already doing it. Now listen to, let's speed it up, kick it up 13 years, and listen to what he has to say today.
Better's good. Yeah. We're not going to get to perfect. If you're telling me that the Affordable Care Act is going to insure 50 million people, do I think that's better than if we were starting from scratch and I could get a single payer plan instituted and get that through Congress and suddenly we had universal health care and we had taken the profit motive out of, do I think that would probably be a smarter way to do it? Absolutely. Right. But since I can't do that, I don't have the votes for that. How about this? Yeah, we can make it better. We can make it better. This sense that things aren't worth it unless we get everything we want is either a recipe for disappointment in a democracy, but also maybe in life, or it leads to this weird cynicism where you just withdraw entirely. And that's part of what happened to too many of our folks. We decided, all right, if I'm not going to get everything, that justifies doing nothing. Better's good.
Now, did you hear what he just said? Oh, you know, we got to do everything he said that shouldn't be done under these circumstances is exactly what he was encouraging the Democrats to do and what the Democrats just did during this shutdown. And this video take here was just a couple of months ago. Obama is one of the fakest, most misleading people that I've ever heard speak. The fact that he's a good, sophisticated orator was one of the worst things for America, because he silver-tongue lied his way into office with very minimal political or corporate business building experience, and lost his congressional race to a former Black Panther, won for senator, won that. 2 years later was up for president. And we see he was funded by the Soros machine, and he's been used as the go-to guy whenever the Democrats end up in trouble. Now let's listen to what President Trump has to say after all of those clips that you just saw about why he wants to do what he wants to do for America. And watch, the Democrats are going to fight it tooth and nail. And you're going to hear in this video from a doctor with 40 years of experience just why. Check this out.
Well, I watched Obama from when this thing came about. Yeah, as you know, I opposed it very strongly. Unfortunately, we had a couple of negative votes, which should never have happened. But I said it's going to be a disaster, and I was exactly right. The premiums have gone up like rocket ships, and I'm not just talking about recently. I'm talking about for years they've been going up. And he said premiums will go down. Everything will be wonderful. It's horrible health insurance at a very high price. And what I want, and probably what you're alluding to, is the fact that I want, instead of going to the insurance companies, I want the money to go into an account for people where the people buy their own health insurance. It's so good. The insurance will be better. It'll cost less. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to feel like entrepreneurs. They're actually able to go out and negotiate their own health insurance. And they can use it only for that reason. That's the beauty, only for that purpose. And if we did that, that would be so exciting. Call it Trump care, call it whatever you want to call it, but anything but Obamacare. Obamacare is a disaster, just like he was as a president.
Here's why I totally agree, and I appreciate the fact that what they're trying to do is give things back to the people. Number one, if you have control of the money to make your own decisions, here's what's going to happen. The insurance marketplace is going to be competitive. It's already happening. I've already been reading reports of batches of doctors, batches of healthcare facilities right now that are networking together to create plans that are more affordable for people within their state, within their regions, that they could offer that would make these other companies like Florida Blue, that's who I'm with, and Aetna's and all of them, have to discount their prices. Now, they don't have to increase their prices. The healthcare providers have increased their prices every single year. And there's a reason for that. Now, before we get into the reason for that, I want you to listen to this young lady, and then I'm gonna let you hear from the doctor, but she gives a really good breakdown of what's going on. Check this out.
Democrats keep arguing that millions of Americans are going to lose health insurance because of Republicans, but are they? During COVID, Biden gave out these Obamacare subsidies, which were basically like a fat government check so people could get Obamacare for cheaper. Obamacare is health insurance. And those COVID-era subsidies are expiring at the end of 2025. COVID is over, but Democrats are arguing that we need to extend those subsidies right now or millions of Americans are going to die. And there are so many problems with this. Number one, the majority of people on Obamacare are going to continue to get coverage at about $50 a month, even without the COVID subsidy. And when those subsidies go away, guess who it's really affecting? Affluent, early retirees, people retiring before 65, making 400% above the poverty line. Which doesn't even make sense. 400% above the poverty line? So like Joe and Jane, who are 55 years old and retired, making a combined income of $130,000 a year, they might see Obamacare costs similar to what they were paying before the pandemic. That's the big, and if Congress decides to extend those COVID-era subsidies, that's going to cost taxpayers $450 billion over the next decade. So the GOP, the Republicans, are saying, hey, we'd love to talk about that and fix this problem, but we cannot do it until you open the government back up. They have the upper hand here because already 60% of Americans want COVID-era funding programs to end, and they are not pleased with Democrats for keeping the government closed just because they want to make permanent those COVID-era subsidies. So do not fall for it. When you hear that.
Real quick, something extremely important I want to point out to you. As we go into January the 1st, open enrollment for insurance, health insurance, is happening right now. And for a lot of seniors, some that are just getting onto Medicare, many that are on Medicare, they're terrified. They don't know what's going on. You got Obamacare getting ready to expire, seeing with the tax credits. But at the end of the day, you do have a solution. My partnership with Chapter has been extremely helpful to seniors just like yourself, if that's what you're looking for. They have skilled and unbiased agents that in less than a 20-minute phone call that's absolutely free, they can help you understand if the Medicare plan you got is the best one available on the market. Because it would suck to find out you've been paying into something and your prescriptions aren't covered and your doctor is no longer in network. It's just a short phone call. That's all it takes. So you can either visit the website, the askchapter.org/realpolitics, or call the number on the screen. Either which way, make sure you're protected with the best Medicare plan available. Contact Chapter. Wow, that was a great breakdown. Now listen to this doctor who's going to really air it out. And this doctor's name, let me get it for you. Wall Street Apes, American Doctor. They don't give it specific, but he gives it. His page is Real Doc Speaks. Check this out.
Why do our health insurance costs go up every year? Can we get 1 year where it's steady or God forbid they go down? And the reason for that is it was designed that way. There's something called in the Affordable Care Act called the medical loss ratio. The medical loss ratio means that insurance companies must spend between 80 to 85% of all premium dollars on medical services. That means they're limited to 15 to 20% for administrative overhead and profit. So that means that they play a little game. The higher the top line is, the bigger that number is. So now all we did was say, let's charge more each year. If you look each year, the insurance companies' revenues go up every year. The second thing they did to get around that was they started vertically integrating. What's vertical integration? That's when you start buying companies that are not insurance companies, but in similar businesses. So they started buying pharmacy benefit managers, which are middlemen for the drug companies. They started buying pharmacies. They started buying physician services and physician groups. So why is that important? Well, think about this. I'm the insurance company. I want to make it look on paper like I'm making my medical loss ratio, because if I don't, I'm going to have to pay a rebate. So what I do is I have my physician over here who's owned, and I overpay him, but he's owned. So when I overpay him, all I'm doing is I'm showing I have an expense here, but it goes back to my other pocket. Same thing for drugs. I can take a $50 drug. I can pay $200 for it. Now I've just gotten around the medical loss ratio because somehow the government can't figure out how to trace that dollar beyond the insurance. So that's how they get around it. And this is why our insurance premiums go up every year, and they're going to keep going up until we change the system.
So in other words, the medical industry is increasing its own prices to continue bringing in the money that is bringing in. It's a wild thing. So in order for us to incentivize them to decrease prices, there is no way to incentivize them to decrease prices. The fact that they've been making record-breaking profits, they can stand. They're perfectly fine. But what's happening is allegedly a lot of these senators, and I'm not just talking about Democrats, some Republicans too, they get fat kickbacks from these from the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, the insurance providers. They say allegedly even Obama himself makes around $30 million, have been paid $30 million from the insurance companies since he left office. You think that was an incentive for him to institute the Affordable Care Act? And remember, I've always told people that whatever a Democrat names a bill, it's actually doing the opposite of that. So the fact that it was called the Affordable Care Act, it was never affordable. And there's documented proof of that. I want you to take a second and listen to this person who was on his insurance And then when Obamacare hit, and this video is a few years old, but really listen as he breaks down what happened to him in real life and what his choices came down to. He had two choices. Check this out.
With the elections coming up, I thought I would share why I am no longer a Democrat. You know, I have had the ability to vote for people even though I didn't like them. I can honestly say I've never voted against somebody. That's just, to me, the wrong way to look at it. But the thing that got me leaving the Democratic Party was more or less one specific issue. See, I was a 2-time bone cancer survivor, still am. That's how I lost my arm. And having health care was extremely important to me. I heard all the talking points of, you know, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. The average family's going to save $1,500 a year. It's not a tax. All of this stuff made sense to me, how this was being pushed. And then the Democrats were also saying, well, you know, Republicans don't want you to have insurance if you have pre-existing condition. Well, I was a walking pre-existing condition, having cancer twice. My insurance was $185 a month with a $1,000 deductible. Wow. That was for a family of 5. So I voted for Biden in 2008 based on Obamacare. Now fast forward to 2010, when Obamacare was implemented. Everything that they said was not true. The Supreme Court ruled that it was a tax if you didn't have insurance, that penalty. So that was a lie. Insurance premiums went up instead of down. That was a lie. The insurance policy that I had specifically, that I had going through 2 bouts of cancer, chemotherapy, amputation, all of this stuff, it was great insurance. The insurance company canceled it because under the new Obamacare guidelines, that policy wasn't good enough. So they no longer offered it. They came up with a new offer and said, this is what your new plan will be, or you can go through the marketplace. And when I looked at them, the cheapest insurance I could find to replace that one was $1,200 a month with a $6,000 deductible. Remember, $185 a month with a $1,000 deductible is now $1,200 a month with a $6,000 deductible. No additional income. So I had to make a choice. Do I keep a roof over my children's head, or do I get health insurance and struggle? And I chose to just keep a roof over my children's head.
Now, you know it's bad when you got to decide between living and getting health insurance. The fact that your medical insurance, it can be the same amount, if not more than your mortgage, is insane. So tell me, what do you think? Do you think it's good? Would you support having control of a financial savings account where you could make your own decision and buy your own insurance for more competitive people, rather than having to go through the Unaffordable Care Act portals or that marketplace? You can make your own decision. You can help stimulate small business in the medical industry like it used to be. I remember when I was a kid growing up, we had our doctor, but there was doctor's offices all over the place. I remember that. You had choices, but as years went on and things changed and laws changed, and they've allowed, allegedly, the insurance industry to write the laws. They allowed it. Now, of course, they don't come out and say, hey, the insurance industry wrote it. No, a part of their team, their legal team writes it, gets them a Democratic senator that goes out there and presents it as their bill. But they didn't write a word of it. Their staff didn't write a word of it. It was totally written by the geniuses over in the insurance company that found them a weasel and somebody that's willing to sell out to people for a couple of bucks, and it lands us where we are today. So I just wanted to bring this to you to find out how you felt about getting the health care money that will be paid to Obamacare directly to you. Do you feel like that'll work, or would you like the subsidies to keep going on? So if you've hung out and watched it up to this point, I want to say I thank you so much from the top and bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate you. And like always, if you haven't hit that like button, please do. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe.
Thing. When you look at black culture, who leads it? Women. That's actually a curse. That's not a blessing. That's a curse. In the Bible, in Isaiah, it talks about how you will be persecuted by children. What's going on in the inner cities? Who are the gangs made up mostly of? Children. And women will lead you. It's not a blessing, it's a curse. Meanwhile, Roland Martin's walking around with a shirt that says vote like a black woman? That's crazy to me. Wearing a shirt that says vote like a black woman. Look, you dummy. The reason why black women vote predominantly for a party and for a philosophy that promises handouts, that promises to take care of you, that promises to be your big brother, is because they can't depend on the men in their home. And so it's because you fell asleep at the gate that your women feel that they must now vote for a politician to take care of them.
You ain't done more for black people than LBJ did, than Bill Clinton did, than FDR did.
For you, a grown man, to wear a shirt that says vote like a black woman is like saying, I don't want to be a man. I don't want to take responsibility and rise to the occasion. I want for the government to take care of me. That's what you're saying when you wear a shirt that says vote like a black woman who doesn't feel protected, who doesn't feel like her man can take care of her and of the family. That's what you are saying when you say vote like a black woman, the nerve of you. I don't mean to get riled up. I'm actually going to stop the live right now because I feel myself getting hot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm getting hot. Do we have any comments? I'm gonna stop it right here. This is not like me. I'm going to tone it down a little bit. But I don't know. These people work my nerves.
What's up? I'm
How
back.
you feeling,
I'm back.
man?
I'm alright.
Why you laughing,
Listen,
man?
Boosie said when he walk in the room, everybody just start laughing. No, it's a known thing. Like when I walk in rooms now, and sometimes I be feeling played. Why? Because I don't know if you laughing with me or at me. That's a good question. But you funny, Boosie. I mean,
What kind of funny you saying?
Man, shut up. I ain't trying to be funny, man. I just don't like when I go in a room and people just get to, you know.
No, that was
it's kind of
our
weird.
cameraman laughing. Boosie said, "Man, what the fuck you laughing at?"
I had to ask him, man, because it, you know.
It could be you just got
No
good
harm,
spirit.
no, bro. No harm. No.
said no harm.
No.
Well, that fade look crispy as a motherfucker.
It's a
man.
hat. It's a hat. It's not a fade. Stop doing it. It's a hat.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, it's a hat.
That shit clean,
Look like a hat for
man.
real.
You
That
just
shit
got it
crystal
done or something?
clean. 6 in the morning.
Who in New York cut your hair like that?
Nah, I bring my barber with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Is it
don't,
right
yeah,
there?
yeah, we married.
Okay.
I don't
we
cheat
married.
on my barber.
Do you cut anybody else? Cause I don't never see nobody.
Oh no,
fade
nah, that
something
ain't
you-
my barber. My
Oh,
barber in there. My barber in there.
Okay.
That's my assistant.
All right.
He been up here
mad times with him. Who?
That's Jay, the assistant, the 6'7", the big one.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Cause I was thinking that when he said it, I was like,
You know,
yeah. But you got an album coming out with NBA YoungBoy, man.
Yeah, I got an album dropping on my birthday.
Happy
so
early born day.
I want everybody to go get it, man, and support me for my birthday. You know?
How'd that come about?
Well, it's been in the making. We had did like 8, probably 6, 7 songs in 2020. But you know, he got in his situation. You know, I was in my situations, and when he came home this time, he reached out to me like, "Let's do it," and I'm like, "Let's do it." So that's how it happened.
Y'all call it a 225 business.
225 business. Yeah.
What's that mean? I mean, I know that's with the area code.
That mean Baton Rouge business.
Right.
Basically Baton Rouge business, and I mean it's a hard album. I mean, I kind of wanted more soulful stuff on there because we shot the whole corner. So this that rowdy. Like it's kind of rowdy. Like I wanted, by me being an older artist, I kind of wanted to put some more heartfelt shit in there. But I mean, it's what they looking for. I'm gonna tell you that.
I'll tell you one thing, Boosie. You one of the few people that social media has actually helped. And what I mean by that is it's definitely boosted your profile, but you got the music to match. And I see it at your shows. Like I be wondering, I'm like, are these people fans of Boosie's music or Boosie the person? I can't tell.
Yeah. I think cause my daughter told me the other day, my daughter was like, "Daddy, I think you more famous now." Like I can't go nowhere now. I'm from 80 to 5 years old. Like them people know me, and I think this come from social media. Like Them Facebook people, them, you know, the older people
The
on
elders.
Facebook.
Yeah.
They love you. Like them Facebook people, like I'm just grateful for it, man. I'm just grateful.
I love the fact that you, the OG, can do a album with a younger artist, and y'all both so excited about it. Because a lot of times you don't say. A lot of times the older artists, I ain't working with the young. A lot of times the younger artists don't want to work with the OGs. So how did that come about, and how do y'all keep that energy the same?
I think we basically came about starting doing the mixtape just from being around each other and being in the studio, him being at the crib. You know, we just making songs together. And when you're around somebody like that, it just come natural, man. It just come natural. When we get in there, you know, I know how to get it started. You know, I'm gonna put that music on for him. I'm gonna set the mood right for him, and YB just go in there and do it. Like he don't write nothing. He just look for a couple minutes, go on that motherfucking, in 5 minutes he write the whole verse down.
How much of what he, like the hold that he has on his fans, you saw all the videos going viral from his concerts and stuff like that. How much of that and what he's doing right now reminds you of you and your earlier days in music?
A lot of it. You know, I went through the same struggles he went through with beef, with all this stuff, you know. Like all the people trying to sound like him and all the people I went through all that, like being somebody who all the teenagers love. You know, it was Boosie mania, but you know, I ain't have all this.